Good morning, this is Kavi Priya, Assistant Professor, EC Department. Today I am going to deliver a topic single phase induction motor, construction, working, types and applications of a single phase induction motor. So generally induction motor are classified into three phase and single phase. So single phase induction motor is a more widely used when compared to three phase induction motor in domestic application because it is very easy to design and it is less costly and it is dependable and can be easily repaired. So it is used in fans, washing machine, juicer machines, and it also used in some types of machineries. So it is used in washing machines and mixture grinders and even in fans. So the single phase induction motor is more, as I told you, it is more preferred over the three phase. So because of the form utility factor. And this is a stator of a single phase induction motor, and next is a rotor of the single phase induction motor. So the single phase induction motor, there are two windings are used. One winding is called main winding and second one we call it as an auxiliary winding. So rotor, instead of rotor winding, the rotor bars are used which are short circuited with the help of the rings. And next is the working of a single phase induction motor. Single phase AC supply is given to the stator winding. The alternating current flowing through the stator winding produces a magnetic flux. This flux we call it as a main flux. We assume that rotor is rotating and it is placed in a magnetic field produced by the stator winding. So according to Faraday's law, the current start flowing in rotor circuit is in closed path. We call it as a rotor current. So due to the rotor current, the flux that is produced in rotor winding, this flux is known as a rotor flux. There are two fluxes now, main flux which is produced by stator and the rotor flux is produced by the rotor. So because of the interaction of these two fluxes, a torque is produced in the rotor and the motor starts rotating. And next is the types of the single phase induction motor. Split phase, shaded pole, capacitor start, capacitor run, permanent capacitor. First we can see the split phase induction motor. So an extra winding will be wound on the some core of a stator. So there are two windings in the stator. One winding we call it as a main winding and the second one we call it as a starting winding or auxiliary winding. A centrifugal switch is connected in series with the auxiliary winding. So the auxiliary winding is highly resistive winding and the main winding is highly inductive one. Auxiliary winding has few turns with a smaller diameter. So the main aim of auxiliary winding is to create the phase difference between the fluxes that is produced by the main winding and the rotor winding. So here we will be having two winding, auxiliary and the main winding. So the auxiliary winding will be there in the circuit until the motor reaches the 70 to 80% of its maximum speed. Once the maximum speed is reached, the switch will get opened and auxiliary winding will be removed from the circuit, and after that process is carried out only by the main winding. So this is used in a fan, blower, grinder, pumps, etc. And next is a shaded pole induction motor. Here the pole of the motor is divided into shaded and the unshaded part. The copper ring is placed in the smaller part of the pole. It is divided to two parts and the copper ring is attached to a smaller part. This ring is highly inductive and is known as shaded ring. The part which contains shaded ring is known as a shaded part and the remaining part is called unshaded part. So when alternating current supply is given through a stator winding and alternating fluxes get produced, due to this flux, some amount of flux will link with the shaded ring and current will flow through the shaded ring. So according to Lenz's law, the current passing through coil is opposite in nature and flux produced due to this coil will oppose the main flux. So shaded ring is a highly inductive, so it will oppose the main flux when both the fluxes are in same direction and will be increase in main flux when both the fluxes are in opposite direction. So it will create a phase difference between the main flux and the rotor flux. So it is used in toy motor, fan, blower, record player. And next is a capacitor start induction motor. In capacitor start induction motor, it overcomes the drawback of the previous one, split phase induction motor. The split phase induction motor drawback is that it produces a low torque. So The drawback is overcome here in case of capacitor start induction motor by making use of a starting capacitor. So until the motor reaches a 75 to 80% of the speed, the switch will remain closed, and after the maximum speed is get reached, the switch will open, and the auxiliary winding and the start capacitor will be removed from the circuit. And it is used in the lathe machine, compressor drilling machine. The starting torque of this type of motor is very high when compared to split phase induction motor. And next is capacitor start, capacitor run induction motor. Here two capacitors are used in parallel. Out of two capacitor, one is for starting purpose and other is for running purpose. So once the maximum speed is get reached, the starting capacitor will be get removed from the circuit and auxiliary winding will be removed from the circuit, and further processing is done. After reaching the maximum speed, the further processing is done with the help of main winding and running capacitor. It is used in refrigerator, air conditioner, ceiling fan, compressor, etc. And next is a permanent capacitor induction motor. Here we won't be having any switch. The capacitor here is get fixed. Auxiliary winding is also get fixed. And this type of motor is used in exhaust fan, blower, heater and all. And final one, application of single phase induction motor. It is used in almost all type of multi-purpose applications like clock, refrigerator, fan, blower, washing machine, dryer, grinder, computers, etc. So because of the high utility factor, it is used in almost all the applications. And the single phase induction motor is not a self-starting one, as we all know that we will be using this auxiliary winding for starting the motor, and also it is even less efficient than three-phase induction motor, and it is available in 0.5 horsepower to 15 horsepower. Even in spite of these drawbacks, still the single phase induction motor is widely used in many of the domestic applications. So that's all about the construction, working principle, types and applications of a single phase induction motor. Thank you.